everyone, welcome back. So that this particular trending news that Igbo Apex Group, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, during last weekend said that no Igbo man will contest president in 2027 against the incumbent President Bola Tinubu, that Igbo should wait till 2035, that the most practical political vehicle for the pursuit of Igbo presidency lies within All Progressive Congress, APC, in 2035. If the zoning formula is altered, says that among notable Igbo sons, the Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, stands out as the most upstanding candidate to lead the country. So when I read the whole article, I now realized that this is factional group of Ohanaeze Ndigbo. This is fake Ohanaeze Ndigbo. This is not original Ohanaeze Ndigbo that led by Senator John Assunta Mbata. This is the fake one, my people. So don't take these people serious, because when you look into that article, all you can see is factional group, Abakaleke, APC, David Umahi. So this particular one is David Umahi Ohanaeze Ndigbo. And also he is just preparing for himself for 2035. And I think it is high time for the men Ohanaeze Ndigbo, led by Senator Mbata, to come and clear the air, to tell Nigerians that they don't even know what these people are talking about, because them keeping quiet, people will now assume that, okay, this is coming from the original Ohanaeze, right? Let's look at some of the reactions from people before we see what Rufai has to say concerning this trending news, as well as what Mr. Magnus Oraka said concerning the worst politicians in Nigeria. Madisho, who said, enemies within Ndigbo and shameless detractors of Biafra nation, what a shame. And another person said, APC has named non-existent group as Igbo Apex Group, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, just like the fake bishop. This is the first time I am hearing Igbo Apex Group, Ohanaeze Ndigbo. Ohanaeze Ndigbo has banned this use of Ohanaeze to circulate false information about organization. So this person said, it is disturbing that the guy there is presenting Isi Nguzo as Ohanaeze leader. This guy works with Umahi and his position shouldn't be taken seriously. It is nothing but imposter, considering the caliber of people that lead Ohanaeze. An idiot knows the guy is not among leaders. And another person said, if I was Igbo president, now this group be one of the first thing I go clear out of existence. Nothing but a bunch of sycophantic, self-serving scoundrels. They have been betraying their people since inception, a disgrace to the nature courage of Igbos, and it is not today. Exactly. And another person said, Ohanaeze Tinubu, please be objective in your reportage. This particular group represents itself, and no Igboman is part of it. Can they give you a list of their members? And this person said, this Ohanaeze Ndigbo was created by the Lagos Ibadan press. So you guys have seen it now that this is the factional group of Ohanaeze Ndigbo. This is not the men Ohanaeze Ndigbo. This is not the Ohanaeze Ndigbo led by Senator Mbata. So don't take it serious, my people. Leave all this APC that are, spreading this news, saying that Igbo person is not going to come out to, contest for presidential election in 2027, this and that. Anyway, let me allow you guys to just take a listen and hear what Rufai has to say concerning this matter, as well as what Magnus Oraka said about the worst politicians in Nigeria. And definitely, they are coming from Southeast. What a shame.
Okay, so that I don't forget, because we have about 6 stories. But let me first start with Ohanaeze Ndigbo. Please. Any Igbo man that wants to run for presidency, go ahead and run. Do not listen to Ohanaeze Ndigbo. It is clear, it is certain that socio-political groups are fast losing their relevance. We had our own tiff between factions of Afenifere on who to endorse in the last elections. Till today, that tiff is still on, although some of them say they are trying to reconcile. Socio-political groups cannot hold the ace of anybody's ambition. The analogy that the surest path to presidency will be waiting till 2035 is their own agenda. And you have seen clearly, they put somebody, mention the name in their own agenda, which is Umahi. So that's the Ohanaeze Ndigbo's Umahi's agenda. It's different from the free rights you have as enshrined in the Constitution. No socio-political group can tell you your faith. That's just it. But I'm not surprised. A women's wing of Ohanaeze, I think, tilted towards Atiku in the last election. Professor George Obi, also when he was alive then, tilted towards Obi. So the truth is, no socio-political group, they are just like another pressure group. And what pressure groups do is, they come out of their pressure cooker and talk. It doesn't mean it's a generality. I just have to set that straight. Secondly, about Atiku Abubakar, yes, he has a right to run. Everybody will compete effectively in the field and we'll see who will emerge. Because there have been indications that he will not run, he should not run, and everything. I'm not going to stop anybody's right to run. But I'm also going to say some things this morning. Number one, we have to say it the way it is. If you have candidates in this coalition that can't come together because of their ambition, definitely it will fracture the coalition in such a way that it will make it an easier ticket for President Tinubu. So while all of them are jostling to have capacity, in the emergence of a particular candidate, it is in their best interest that they work together. If they don't work together, they make it easier. And that's just it. It shows from history, it's better to have a coalition of forces to fight against an incumbent. It's not today we've been doing it. In 1999, we did the same. Olufalaye and Marsh in Kafi, NPP, and the Alliance for Democracy had to come together to fight the might of Olusegun Obasanjo. The APC also reprised that with the coalition of APGA and other political parties, and even some people out of the PDP coming together to be able to fight incumbent President Goodluck Jonathan then in 2015. It's better off that way because you have a better footing and you have a coalition of forces to pretty much do that. But in the case where there's an emergence of a candidate from the coalition and there's a division, it makes it easier for President Tinubu. And trust me, President Tinubu will not sit down and allow you come together. He doesn't even want it in the first place because he's a politician and he also wants to win. That's just my beat about that. The other point this morning will be that of the NBA conference. And it's apt. In fact, kudos to the NBA. Because the NBA conference holding in Ndigbo is an act of defiance in itself. We all know the story. They left Rivers, that was supposed to be the initial host, because of the state of emergency declared, which they have strong objections to. But the sad reality is that till date, that case have not been heard by the Supreme Court. Are we waiting till the end of the expiration of state of emergency before we now hear the case and say it's been overtaken by events? Because you see, if we don't hear the case, when we ask the questions of what happened to democracy in Nigeria, we will mention the courts. And I want those conversations about the state of emergency to also be brought up at this NBA conference. And why is the Supreme Court finding it difficult to be able to hear cases, especially when they are time-bound like that? When you see in this same Rivers case, there were other judgments that were speedily dispensed by the court, especially the local government issue, if you remember. Yeah. And as of today, the bone of contention by a lot of people leading up to this local government election on the 30th of August is the same 90 days clause at which those associated to Wike went to court last year. That's what some people are also proving now, but they are saying because there's a state of emergency and there's a suspension of the laws of the land in the state that they can go ahead and do the election. So you can see what one man complained about last year, today is no longer a problem for him. And when we point out this hypocrisy, people say, oh, why do you point out? But see, we have to point out hypocrisy. Because you know why? Hypocrisy is the homage that vice pays to virtue. Let's not forget that. Hypocrisy is the homage that vice pays to virtue. People that have vices also want to act like they are virtuous. And that's where they go the line of hypocrisy. I didn't say those words. François de la Rochefoucauld said those words many, many years ago. Kudos to Malema on what he said.
Do you know that the most useless set of politicians are found only in the Southeast? The most useless set of politicians are found in the Southeast. You know, I've always wondered, why would we have a politician who is a governor of a state that was once governed by a governor who is adjudged one of the best politicians from the Southeast? Yet, you have somebody who is enveloped by greed, who is enveloped by jealousy, and consistently, intermittently try to water down his own brother and colleague and predecessor, openly siding with adversary. It can happen only in the Southeast. Why would you have somebody from the Southeast saying that that he heard that Peter Obi said the Southeast is 90% for him? That the only time the presidency should come to the Southeast is if him, I'm talking about Umahi, Minister for Works, that he should be in the forefront. I've come to realize that most politicians in the Southeast are self-centered. Most politicians in the Southeast are self-centered. They don't think about an integral cohesion that drives the interests of the Southeast forward. No. In fact, most of the politicians, when they talk about Southeast, they think they represent Southeast. Individually, they represent Southeast. Talk about Kenneth Okonkwo. Kenneth Okonkwo came into political limelight because he supported Peter Obi. Now that he feels he has gotten the limelight, he feels he no longer needs Peter Obi. Now he's talking anyhow. What are they? Look at this other one, the one that said if he doesn't get Senate president, they should blame Peter Obi. I mean, what group of people are this? What group of people are this? You do things in such a way that you know that the country is against the Southeast. For no reason, the people hate the Igbos. And somehow, your character and your behavior somehow want to excuse this hatred. At a situation where I felt most Southeasterners will come and say, we've been together for over 60 years. And it's like power is being rotated between the Southwest and Northwest. What about us? We are one of the three major tribes in Nigeria. We've contributed so much. Now that we have one of our best that is loved by all and sundry, why are we not? But you see them, it's all about me. It's all about me. Soludo is thinking about himself. Umahi is thinking about himself. They're all thinking about themselves. The most difficult politician to support is an Igboman. I can tell you for free that if today Peter Obi becomes president, his biggest opposition will not come from other parties, will come from politicians in the Southeast. Why is this so? Why is this so? I don't want to use strain words so that my viewers don't misrepresent my video. But this is a call to order to politicians in the Southeast. We are fighting to see that Nigeria becomes one. Some people think I'm doing this thing because I'm looking for favors from the Igbos. But what has been driving my fight is this. If an Igbo man, who is one of the three major tribes in Nigeria, can be frustrated to the point of not getting power, then what is my own chance? An Robo man, a thief man, a Biro man, an Idoma man, the man from Numan. I mean, other tribes. So those who have deliberately skewed Nigeria to a button that will be exchanged between two tribes must be taught to know that Nigeria does not belong to them. And the only way we can let them know that Nigeria does not belong to them is if we come together. There is power in unity. One ant is not a threat. 2 ants is not a threat. But a colony of ants is a threat to any adversary. That's why the greatest men in the Bible studied the ant. The ant colony is the most scientifically organized society, so much so that it is one for all and all for one. We are suffering, and we are Nigerians. We have been divided along tribal lines. We have been divided along primordial sentiments, religion, tribe. Hey, this one I'm on, this one I'm on. While we do that, the wicked ones are thriving. Let's come together. I beg you, let's come together. These politicians, I'm not saying you must support Peter Obi because Peter Obi is an Igboman. But because he's loved by everybody, you become envious and trying to water him down. Like Umahi, who is saying that if at all there's going to be a president from Igbo land, it must be him. That's the most stupid statement. It reflects that most Igbo politicians are the most stupid politicians in Nigeria.
Welcome to Chamress News TV.